Cowboys nose tackle Josh Brent is back in jail after failing a drug test, failing it for the second time. He has been out on bond while waiting for his intoxication manslaughter trial. Brent is accused of a drunk driving crash that killed his teammate. Fox 4's Emily Lopez is at Valley Ranch tonight with more on the developments. Emily.
Heather, Josh Brent turned himself into the Dallas County Jail today for violating the conditions of his bond, yet he is still on the roster for the Dallas Cowboys. The question is, for how long?
This, the latest mugshot of Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman Josh Brent as he continues to get in trouble with the law. According to court documents, Brent's failed 2 drug tests in the last 4 weeks, testing positive for marijuana.
What happened today, the Cowboys cannot ignore.
Attorney Pete Schulte is not involved in this case, but he used to prosecute high-profile drunk driving cases while working for the Dallas County DA's office. George Milner, Brent's attorney, did not return our calls.
I'm sure Mr. Milner is telling Mr. Brent, you've got to be completely squeaky clean through this process because the eyes are on you. Because you are a Dallas Cowboy.
Brent is charged with intoxication manslaughter in the December 8, 2012 death of fellow teammate Jerry Brown Jr. Police say he had a blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit when the car he was driving crashed. Brent's had a problem sticking to the conditions of his release in recent weeks. In May, he was out on bond when prosecutors claimed he was around alcohol and tampered with his ankle monitor. Testimony later revealed Brent did not consume alcohol, and his attorney claimed his client was being unfairly targeted because he's a cowboy. Prosecutors refuted that.
That's ridiculous. You look at the facts of this. I can't go into the facts of this case, but this is the person, remember, who just got off probation at the time of Mr. Brown's death. So, yeah, are we taking this case seriously? Absolutely, we're taking this case seriously. This guy is a repeat alcohol offender that killed someone in our county.
Brent will remain in jail for at least the next 3 weeks until his next bond hearing. Then a judge will decide whether he'll remain there or be released on bond again until his September trial.
He's not doing what he should be doing while he's on bond.
Now, we spoke with the mother of Jerry Brown Jr. He is the passenger and the teammate who was killed in this crash. She says that she was quite surprised to hear about all of this. She's been keeping up with Brent, keeping in touch with him. She says she was sad to hear about this latest development. Steve?
All right, Emily, thank you. And actually, she might play into some of what we're going to talk about. Fox 4's Mike Ducey in to talk about Brent's latest mistake and what many are coming to believe is Dallas Cowboys, kind of a big mistake too. Mike, specifically what we're going to talk about is how Emily addressed Brent at the top of her story. She didn't say a former Dallas Cowboy. He's still a current Cowboy, and that concerns people.
And how Emily closed her report was referencing a conversation with the mother of the victim in that crash in December, Jerry Brown Jr. If you want to try to stretch and defend the Cowboys for keeping Josh Brent on the roster, you might have an argument, a small one, in saying that the mother of the victim had urged the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, Jason Garrett, teammates, keep Josh Brent close. Brent and Jerry Brown Jr. were best friends. Keep him close. So maybe that was somewhat of an excuse for the Cowboys. But I think now after this, it's hard for me to imagine them keeping him on the roster much longer.
2 failed drug tests. You know, there was some excuses made about the first one, but now another one. I don't know. You know this. DFW sports community has now turned. It sounds you've talked and read some of their statements. They are now saying Josh Brent needs to go. A lot of them. Does Jerry Jones listen to that guy?
You know, Jerry's been on the wrong side of some PR disasters in his time. We know that. But I just can't imagine that he could be this tone deaf now when it has to do with this thing. Again, Jerry, for all of his faults, and we're always quick to point them out, can sometimes be tremendously loyal to players and loyal to a fault. I can't imagine this being a football decision, keeping Josh Brent on the roster. It's not as though
as a future talented
it's not
player.
as though you're keeping a superstar around or looking the other way to keep a superstar on your team. So frankly, I don't get the fact that they haven't already made a move and let him go.
But then again, on the national scene, it's not getting the play that, say, the Aaron Hernandez situation did. And so the Cowboys' national brand isn't suffering, I don't think. Do you think it is?
No, that's a good point. I don't think it is nationally, although, as you know, yesterday when the Hernandez story really blew up, we around here were talking about the relation that it may have had, the comparison anyway, to the Josh Brent story. And, it's apples and oranges in some ways, but the bottom line is, a man died in both situations, and now, we're hearing more reports about Hernandez and some media reports suggesting that he may have been involved in another murder as well. We'll see where that plays out. But the Patriots were quick to let Hernandez go, Pro Bowl caliber player, while the Cowboys still have kept Josh Brent on their roster.
Yeah, I think the tweets on my phone were bang, bang. It was, the arrest and then Patriots released him. It was just bang, bang the way that happened. Last night, and I don't remember exactly how you handled it, but you did point out there when we were talking about the Brent thing, that was before the second failed drug test, you were careful to say there's a difference in the charges that Hernandez faces and Brent faces. Did the drug failure test today, does that push you?
Yeah, I think it's hard to cut him any slack now. Not that you necessarily would before, but again, it was a situation where, he made a horrible decision, but it was an accident that killed his best friend. Mm-hmm. Hernandez, if what is alleged is true, killed somebody in cold blood. But now, to have such disregard for the law even after this, as Josh Brent allegedly, has had, mm-hmm. again, just from a Cowboys standpoint, I don't know how you look the other way any longer on this.
I guess last question, you've been around long enough, you know kind of how their timetable works. If they were going to cut with him, cut ways with him, would it have happened today? Could it happen later this week? When does that happen?
I sort of expected to hear something tonight,
okay.
To be honest with you. And again, I'd be shocked if it didn't happen within the next couple of days. And by the way, I resent the fact that you keep bringing up the fact that I've been around here for so long. I know how old I look, Steve. All right, trying to lend credibility to it. All right.
All right. Me too. I've been here as long as you have. All right, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah.